Folks, I have two things I want to cover in this video. The first one is the results at the 2010 CPAC for the presidential straw poll. Texas Congressman Ron Paul won the CPAC presidential straw poll. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney came in second, and those were the only two candidates who actually received double digits in the percentage. So Ron Paul won, Mitt Romney came in second, and the other candidates got below 10%. I'd like to talk a little bit about something that got me mad about this result. Let me explain to you what Texas Congressman Ron Paul and his son, U.S. Senate candidate from Kentucky, Rand Paul, want to do to this country. First of all, they believe that leaving Saddam Hussein in power would have been the right decision. Saddam had killed 2 million people, 50 million people lived in fear, now live in freedom. Ron and Rand Paul would have, and Ron did vote against the authorization for President Bush to go into Iraq and disarm Saddam Hussein and liberate 50 million people. Furthermore, they believe that we should never have had a Department of Homeland Security or have passed the Patriot Act because they somehow infringe on our rights. But how about our right to live in freedom and not fear? President Bush and members of Congress voted on that to defend our right to live and our right to freedom. Ron Paul and his son, Rand, oppose those rights, obviously, if they oppose the Patriot Act and the Department of Homeland Security. Another thing that they believe is that we should not be in Afghanistan. This goes back to the root of their belief, which is that the United States somehow invited the 9/11 attacks because we were over there first. When innocent people are killed, nobody invites anything that involves that. They also believe in disastrous policies with regards to our food supply. They want to shut down the FDA. They want to, which I believe would, since we're getting so much food from China, would potentially have some very bad chemicals in our food that would hurt thousands of millions of people in this country. Shutting down the FDA is a hazardous to people's health. They want to shut down the central bank so our currency won't be checked. So Ron and Rand Paul basically believe in a foreign policy in which we blame America first and a domestic policy in which every single citizen is responsible for their own safety and there's nobody to protect them. And I'm not talking about government programs like welfare. I'm talking about national security issues and your right to have clean food. These are very important things, and Ron and Rand Paul believe that you should not have clean food. They believe that that we should just allow our currency to go unchecked without the central bank. These are very scary things that Ron and Rand Paul advocate. We cannot allow Ron Paul to be nominated for president of the United States. He is a danger to this country. And if Rand Paul is nominated in Kentucky for the U.S. Senate, I would actually urge people in Kentucky to vote for the Democratic candidate because the Democratic candidate will be more conservative than Rand Paul. Furthermore, I hope that Kentucky Republicans realize this, that the Democrats are more conservative than Rand Paul, and nominate Trey Grayson, the Secretary of State, instead. Their ideas are dangerous to the United States. I'm going to move on now. Politico just reported that President Obama's advisors are already plotting his 2012 campaign. And I'm not making an endorsement yet. I'm not going to make an endorsement for the 2012 election until after the 2010 races are over. I'll make an endorsement sometime next December. But right now I'm not going to make an endorsement, and instead I'm going to just say that the most likely nominee of our party is probably going to be Mitt Romney, the former governor of Massachusetts. He's the most likely nominee as of now, as of the winter of 2010. We'll see what happens. Maybe Mike Huckabee will get in the race. I don't think he will. Maybe Sarah Palin will enter the race. Maybe Newt Gingrich, or maybe a dark horse candidate like Mitch Daniels or John Thune will somehow get ahead. But right now, as it stands, Mitt Romney, the former governor of Massachusetts, is the front runner. Now, let me just say that the last time we had a president like Obama, president who was actually worse than Obama, and his name was Jimmy Carter. He lost re-election in 1980, and in 1984, President Ronald Reagan said that it's morning again in America. Well, I'm going to say that though it's definitely not morning again in any place in America, with regards to our federal government, with regards to the states, it's morning again in Massachusetts. More people have health care, taxes are lower, deficits were lower. I think the state of Massachusetts was better off in 2007 when Mitt Romney left office than when he took office 4 years earlier. That is, I truly believe that. Massachusetts was better off after 4 years of Romney and Haley than before. And I hope that America could be better off as soon as possible. Now, the president, I respect the fact that the president is going to run for re-election starting after the 2010 elections are over, and he's planning it right now. And that's understandable because, frankly, he probably knows that he's going to be in a very close re-election battle. But I think the Republicans have got to get some things organized too. We have to realize who we are and what we stand for and what type of party we're going to be. And that conversation is going to take place for a long time, probably to the Republican convention in 2012. But for now, I think we have to sit back and kind of be the party of ideas. We have to be a diverse party that welcomes in people from the middle and the right. I think that's important. So thank you, and that's something to think about.